people, I guess we can get started. Yes. Hey everyone, greetings. We are on our water fast. How many of y'all are actually tired of your water right now? It's a tough thing right now. I'm on my third day. Most people are on their third day. We're trying to get through this water fast, at least go 5 days. It's a little hard. I can tell you now that my energy is up and down. It's up and down. And I know a lot of people are actually struggling too if they've never done this before. But back in 2017, I did a 5-day water fast, and I did it with some students. Most people were able to make it around actual 3 days. And we did kidney filtration. So a good indication that you are actually filtering your kidneys correctly or seeing some type of lymphatic drainage is to actually collect your urine. Using a little jar, I don't have a little jar up here, but if you had a little jar, something like this, and you collect your urine in it, you'll be able to see sediment at the bottom of that jar. So that's a good way to find out if you're having lymphatic drainage and some kidney filtration and actually filtering it out. Alright, so I have some wonderful benefits to share with everyone. How we are actually performing this water fast. So I'm going to take it a little slow, but at the same time we're going to have a short class this session right now, and hopefully I can get through it really quickly. So some of the benefits, guys, that we're actually receiving at this moment is activating BDNF. If no one ever actually heard of brain-derived neurotropic factor, these are proteins that are found in our spinal cord and in our brain. These are proteins that promote the survival of nerve cells. So this has a lot of benefits. I'm talking about when we did our neurophytochemistry class. This is also another way to increase the healing of our nerves. Also the growth of our nerves, the maturation, the maintenance of our nerves. This increases neurogenesis. I already put it up here, but this increases neurogenesis. That means the birth of new nerve cells, new brain cells. So this is really good. I'm talking about Alzheimer's. Somebody that really needs to increase new brain neurons will use BDNF doing water fasting. Now there's other ways you can increase BDNF. You can do that by intense exercising, and this really helps when you're doing strength training. Okay, so if you were doing this for about a good 20 to 30 minutes in the gym, the post-workout won't last that long. The post-after effects, you will receive some of that BDNF. Also, another way to stimulate BDNF, you guys can look up this information, but actually I'm boiling some water right here because we're about to get ready to make our fat soluble drink, and I want to melt it down. So when you have that deep sleep, this increases that REM sleep, that rapid eye movement sleep. And the reason why we want that, because it actually cycles in every 90 minutes. So stage 3, you get that 90 minutes of deep sleep, that REM sleep, and you create some stimulation for BDNF. Also, when you're at the 4th stage, that's that actual REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. You can increase BDNF during that. Most of the time you will get that if you're not tossing and turning. So around, say for instance, you go to sleep at 11 o'clock, around 3 or 4 o'clock, you'll definitely start to feel that stimulation in the brain. Okay. Antioxidants is another way. This increases the antioxidants. BDNF is stimulated by antioxidants. So another reason why I asked you guys to do the cranberry juice, blueberries, those things have polyphenols in it. They have antioxidants in it, and you also activate more BDNF. All right, so hopefully everybody understands what's going on with this type of protein in the brain. And this is all found in our spine. So anybody that's dealing with multiple sclerosis, water fasting just increases that ability to heal. All right, so another thing that we want to try to do when we're water fasting is ketosis, burning of fat. Now, a lot of people have heard of ketosis. We know that when the body has used up all of your sugar stores, a lot of us like to operate on glucose. The brain really works better on fat. It's the best source. So when fat is metabolized, it creates ketones. So I drew up a picture here. You can kind of zoom in a little bit. The pancreas is an exocrine gland and an endocrine gland. That means it can make hormones and it also can secrete hormones. It's a very wonderful gland or organ, as you would say, but it handles two different things. It handles the insulin levels, it handles the glucagon levels. So let me draw a little picture right here. This would be the insulin. Now, one benefit that we get from water fasting is that we decrease our insulin sensitivity. All right, so anybody that is diabetic, type 2 diabetes, type 3 diabetes, those are definitely will decrease the insulin sensitivity. And when insulin goes down, glucagon goes up. So glucagon right here is going to increase because now the body has been into ketosis, and it takes a little while to get there. It doesn't like in 48 hours to 72 hours. It takes a little time to get there. So I asked, how long does it take? Really, we'll say 72 hours. So in order to get to this point right here where we're secreting fat cells from the pancreas in the form of lipase. Lipase breaks down fats, and fats actually turn into a fatty acid. Okay, so when it gets to the fatty acid part and go into the liver, we create ketones. And more ketones that you produce within that 72 hour or more, it creates something called ketogenesis. So that's the birth of new ketones, and then it goes into the bloodstream, and now we're burning more fat stores. Now, why is it that fat is so good as a source of fuel? Well, one reason is it produces more energy per gram. So fat produces 8 grams of energy. Carbs produces 4 grams of energy. All right, so it's better to burn off of fat than carbohydrates. All right, so those of you guys who are loving the glucose storage and burning off, that burns off really, really fast. Okay, so the reason why I had you guys drinking the Shalom healing water is because B6 increases the energy stores, B12, also all of those different things. We talked about that in the Shalom healing water video, but it definitely helps speed up that way to get rid of all of the glucose out of your system. Another thing that the fat is doing is producing less free radical damage. Now we know that inflammation actually starts when we have a lot of free radical damage in our system. Like if you consume more fats, you won't have a lot of that free radical damage. You won't have a lot of reactive oxidative species. Another word right here for you guys to look up, ROS, reactive oxygen species. And these are something that just breaks down the membrane of the cell caused by free radical damage. So if you have more fats, you can protect yourself. You can have less inflammation. This goes along with the same as with diabetics. So I really wish that I really wish that I had all of my diabetic clients doing this water fast with me, because they would have been healed within about 7 days, and they really found some good benefits of that. So fat, why is it another reason why it's a good source to burn as fuel, is that it improves the brain network pattern. So all of the synapses in our brain, the corporal callosum that gets triggered when an epileptic seizure starts, if you were to burn just fat in a person that had epilepsy, he will also heal himself by getting into ketosis. Alright, so the same thing that goes along with autism. There's certain parts of the cerebellum that affects autistic children or autistic adults. But if they were to burn their fuel just off fat rather than sugar, it'd be much better. Like I said, it already helps Alzheimer's, and it really helps with Parkinson's disease as well. So water fasting is a very it's one of the healings of almost everything. You know, so you can go 30 days and really just heal almost all of your conditions. But a lot of people can't do that. So I want to share with you guys how to make the fat soluble drink. I melted this down a little bit more, and once you get into ketosis, you can use something called MCT. MCT is medium chain triglycerides. So that's what I have up here. This is a 6 to 12 chain of carbon atoms, and I really just put about 2 to 3 ounces in here. And I recommend that this be unrefined, all natural, cold pressed. Needs to be that way. So in order to drink it, don't drink the regular kind that in the grocery store. Make sure it's organic and also unrefined. So some of the things that I like to put in there is all fat soluble vitamins. Needs to be fat soluble vitamins. I didn't tell you guys this while I was on my water fast, but I've been taking wheat germ oil. I need to take wheat germ oil. I find that it's a miracle. Sometimes I just take it as a capsule like this. It's a gel cap, slips down really easy with fat. I can take it just like this, or I can make sure I punch a hole in it and I'll squeeze it out. So wheat germ oil will have octosanol in it. Octosanol is very good for our white blood cells. Okay, and I'll use about 3 of these in there. So we got 3 wheat germ, and so you guys will know your homework assignments will be on wheat germ oil. It has a lot to do with oleic acid. Okay, so that's another thing for you guys to look up, oleic acid. These are acids that are in here, guys, and also another acid that is in the coconut oil. It's very important. It's called lauric acid. So you guys can look up that information and put that in there. So your fat soluble drink, I also use D3. This is fat soluble. Even though they're fat, let me get something to wipe my hand. So this is a capsule. You can put this directly in, or you can just take it. So these are 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. I want you to know that when you go out into the sun and you stay out there for 15 to 20 minutes, you're already getting in 20,000 IUs through your skin. This is only 10,000 IUs. So if you wanted to put this in there, it fell in there. You can. And it's still will absorb better. These will all absorb well in fat. Next thing I have here is glutamine. We know that glutamine is really good for our gut health. It seals up all of the microscopic cracks and leaks and everything. So anybody that has leaky brain, like most of the Alzheimer's clients, glutamine will help the gut and the brain connection, that vagus nerve, help it work much better. And you can add 2 of these. See that vitamin D has already dissolved. So these are fat soluble vitamins. So anything that I tell you guys, especially like with the Shalom healing water, you notice that those things dissolve really fast. Fat soluble vitamins. You can also use vitamin A, which is also fat soluble. You can also use vitamin K2, fat soluble. But you only need about 2 to 3 ounces of this. And what this does, just to share, that this goes directly to the liver, and it can be used instantly as energy. So when you're feeling low, you're doing your water fast, and you need an extra energy, this will go directly to the liver, and you have that spark of energy. So I just took some of this not too long ago to get my energy stores up, and I also took some cranberry juice. We were supposed to take this at 1 o'clock, so I already drunk my 8 ounces. So use this formula and drink this down, and then it goes directly to the liver. Now, I put up here CoQ10. I'm not going to open this, but CoQ10 is good for energy, and it's also fat soluble. This gets on the cellular membrane, so any type of free radical damage, ATP is produced from CoQ10. So it's called ubiquinol. That's another word for it. Alright, so that's how we make the fat soluble drink. I've been giving this to all of my clients that gets overviews, and we use this as a way just to get more energy and also get us into ketosis. Right? So we know about the triglycerides. I hope you guys wrote down your homework. This also is a very good way to protect ourselves from viruses. Once you have a lot of fat inside of your system, viruses don't like fat either. So they love sugar. So you guys that are based on sugar, you can definitely get some benefits. This is a viral protection. So in the package for the coronavirus, I have vitamin A, vitamin D, and of course you gotta use some wheat germ, of course, because it has magnesium in it and all the rest of the good fatty acids that are good for it. Right? So let's see here. Now we talked about insulin sensitivity a little bit, but fasting resolves the insulin resistance. So I did a class on kidney health, on how to bring down insulin resistance, and this was a way that we did it. We must fast, and for those levels to go down, and because you have to stop eating. So anybody that has type 2 diabetes or polycystic ovarian syndrome, when there's insulin sensitivity, you can stop the symptoms of PCOS. So that's another form of type 3 diabetes. We know that insulin is heavily involved with PCOS. And also, whenever there is a high blood sugar, there's also high blood pressure. Right, so by fasting, you will lower your blood sugars, and you also will lower your blood pressure. All this works hand in hand, because this stuff has to be produced right there in the liver. So all of your triglycerides gets produced, actually synthesized in the liver. So you will lower your cholesterol by doing that. So triglycerides is another form of LDL, low density lipoproteins, or high density lipoproteins. Those are all dealing with triglycerides. and they happen to flow up the vagus nerve as well, feeding our brain. So this is a really good way. When there's no food consumption, it allows the body to resensitize back to insulin. So we can actually feel when we're having high blood pressure or blood sugars again. So if you know anybody that has diabetes, if you know anybody that has polycystic ovarian syndrome or high blood pressure, get them to fast. And we can do that. We can get those insulin levels down within 72 hours, because that's what happens. Okay. Alright, so autophagy. We talked about this in our heat shock therapy class. We know that when we are clearing out all of these old components, cellular components, we're also getting rid of all of the misfolded proteins. We talked about that before. But this is repair mode. This is repair mode. So, something that I had on the chart to teach y'all about the autophagy is that it used the autophagomes and the lysosomes. So that's on your worksheet there, that we use those for to degrade and recycle old proteins. So when we're in this stage of ketosis, I hope you guys have been working out, doing some type of light exercise. Not too much, because we don't want to burn out our energy stores. So I like to bench press, I like to do squats. It keeps my energy up, but I do it lightly during these phases right now, so it can help stimulate growth hormone. So when you're in that stage right there, like when I was talking about strength training, intense strength training, even if you're not in autophagy, you will still stimulate some growth hormones. This tells our body to produce new proteins. So with those new proteins, we create more hormones. So going into the sauna, all that really works as well. So there's a lot of different ways that we can increase autophagy. And another way is to have proanthocyanins, the blueberries, the cranberries, the raspberries, the blueberries, blackberries. All of those induce autophagy. So if we were to modulate that, we will stop having so much inflammation, and there's a lot of resistant cancer cells that's in our body. So we're trying to get rid of cancer cells, and proanthocyanins is an antioxidant. It's a polyphenol, and they make them go into apoptosis, as well as induce the autophagy. So let me write down the ingredients for you guys, because I know you probably missed the fat-soluble drink. Make sure there's 2 to 3 ounces of coconut oil. Now this can be coconut butter, okay? It can be coconut milk. It can be olives. Olives has a lot of fat in it. Don't do the olive oil, but do the olives itself. So in order to make the fat-soluble drink, we're going to do the two capsules of glutamine. We're doing, I do 3 capsules. 3 capsules of wheat germ. And all of these are oils. And I do, well, we can do 1. Now if you don't have fibroids or anything like that, just do 1 vitamin D. It needs to be D3. So that's our fat-soluble drink, and just as a bonus, you can add 2 capsules of CoQ10, and that is our recipe. And that helps increase ketosis, especially while we're doing our water fasting. So as you can notice, my energy is a little up and down. I'm trying to get it through. The third day is always the hardest day. We're all on our third day. So once we get to our fourth day, we're drinking nothing but water, and we should be just fine, because I've done this twice before. And once you get through that third day, the third day is always the roughest day, and that is today. And I'm trying my best to get through it as well. So whenever you guys want to, you can drink the fat-soluble drink to build up that energy. Make sure you get your cranberry juice and your blueberries tonight. And tomorrow, just stick with water, because you're not going to feel any hunger. I already have a feeling of it just passing. The hunger pains will pass. This will also kill off some parasites. It speeds up that lifespan. So once you're water fasting, now there probably will be a question about not having a bowel movement. Okay, so I noticed that a lot of people, well, even with myself, you're not going to have a daily bowel movement. Okay, because you're not eating anything. Okay, so if you want to induce that bowel movement, I recommend that you do a colon cleanse. My colon cleanse capsules will create some peristaltic movement. So I will probably start the colon cleanse today, just to induce a bowel movement. How to break your fast. I didn't talk about that. On your worksheets, I put on there about breaking your fast if you're breaking it today, or if you're breaking it tomorrow morning. If you started on Thursday night and you're breaking your fast tomorrow morning, you want to have avocado smoothie. And this is what I will put in that smoothie. I will put coconut butter, I will also put lime, because we're breaking our fast, and you can put a pineapple. I'll have that smoothie in the morning. And you can also add a little spinach in there if you want. I like to call that the avocado, because it has the pineapple, the coconut in there, the avocado. That's a good smoothie right there to break your fast, because it still has your fat and it has a little bit of glucose in it. Alright, so the next thing, this is for breakfast. If you think about it, you can have another one of these for lunch or something, but for dinner, just do a sweet potato, a baked sweet potato. And the reason why is because the sweet potato has a lot of fat-soluble vitamins in it. It has vitamin A, and it's kind of mushy, so we don't want to put anything heavy on our system at this time. So that will be your first day in breaking your fast. Alright, well, that is it, students. I really appreciate your time and journeying with me on this water fast. Drink more water. We're in it. We're already in it. So I appreciate you all for listening. I'll see you guys next week. Blessings.